In this video, I'm going to go over how to create your entire store. But before we do that, we're going to come up with a business name for our store. I recommend picking a name that's very general, short, and easy to remember. Just make sure it's a general name so that in case you want to switch your niche, you can do so without having to create an entire new store. So once you come up with a name, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to Google and type in Google Domains. Now you might be wondering, wait, I don't want to buy the domain from Google. I want to buy it from Shopify. Don't worry, that's exactly what we're going to do. All we're doing here on Google is to see if it's available. So you just want to click on Squarespace down here. So with this name, I can build a store in the health niche, the pet niche, the beauty niche, any niche because it sounds very general. Now I recommend using .com, but if that's not available or if it costs too much money, then you can either do shop and then your name .com or just use .co. You're going to want to go back to Google and create an email so that we can handle all our business affairs with that email that's related to our domain name. So just click on for personal use. All right, so now that that's created, we're gonna go ahead and create our website. So right under this video, you're gonna see a link that looks like this. Copy that and then paste it right here. And if you use this link, you can get Shopify for $1 and earn up to $10,000 in credits. So click on start free trial. Then you wanna click I'm just starting, click next, click online store, click dropshipping products, select your country. So click sign up with Google. Click continue. Okay, so here we are on the Shopify dashboard and I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough through each of these tabs. For the homepage, as you can see, it's a brand new store, but once you run your store, you're going to see orders and all the traffic. Here on the orders page is where you can see all the customers that placed an order on your store. Of course, it's empty because we don't have any orders yet. We just started, but you will see them come in on this tab here. Then you have drafts. These are draft orders that you can create. You don't really need to worry too much about this. Then we have shipping labels. Since we're drop shipping, we're not going to even use this tab. But if you are sending out your own products from your own house, then this may be something you'll want to utilize. Then you have abandoned checkouts. These are all the people that went to your store but did not finish checking out their order. Then we have products. So in a future video, I'm going to show you how to add products to your store. Then we have collections. This is where you can create collections for your store, like the homepage, best sellers, etc. Then you have inventory, but again, because you're drop shipping, this is not relevant. So here in purchased orders, you can track and receive inventory from suppliers, but this is something you're really not going to even utilize since we're drop shipping. Then you have transfers, which is again not really important. Then you have gift cards, which you can create for your customers. So here you have customers. So once you receive orders, you're going to see all the customer information here in this tab. Then here you have segments. So this is where you can create segments based on your customer order list. Then here you have content. So once you start creating content for your store, it will show up here in the Meta Objects tab. So next you have finances. So once you have orders, you can keep track of all your finances. Then you have Shopify Credit, which is usually only available for US customers. So here you can earn up to 3% cash back on all eligible purchases. Next we have payouts. So this is where all your payouts will be. Next you have analytics. So once you start getting orders, you'll see all your analytics here. Add to carts, reach checkout, sessions converted, your average order value, the total amount of orders, the amount of sessions, etc. Then you have reports for more detailed reporting. For example, average order value over time, sales by billing location, meaning where they purchased, and so on. And next we have live view. So once you start getting people on your store, you'll be able to track their exact movements as far as where they're located, active carts, checking out, and purchased. So next we have marketing, which we're not going to really utilize at all because we're going to run all our ads on Facebook. But within marketing, you can create campaigns, which you can manage here in this tab. And then automations, for example, if you want to create an abandoned checkout automation, you can do that here. But again, we're not going to use this. We're going to use a different app to send out automation. So here in the discount section, this is where you can create discounts for your customers. And then here under sales channels, we have the online store. This is the online website that we're going to be selling our products from. And then under that, we have themes, which I will show you how to configure in a future video. Once you're ready for your store to go live, you're going to want to pick a plan. And most of you are going to want to choose the basic plan. And keep in mind, you can always upgrade later on, so that's not a problem. Next, you have blog posts. So if you want to create blog posts for your store, you can do that here. Then you have pages. This is where you can create pages for your online store. You can do that right here. And then here in navigation, this is where you can configure your main menu and footer menu. This is the bar at the top of most websites where you see contact us, shop now, etc. And we're going to do this in a later video. So in preferences, so this helps search engines find your store better. So you're going to want to create a homepage title. Because my store is named boutiques.com, so I'm going to make the homepage title boutiques. So here in the homepage meta description, you're going to want to create a basic description of your store. So for that, I would just go to ChatGPT and type in write a basic description for a home decor store. We'll just go ahead and copy and paste this first part here. Go back, remove this, and type in our store name. Welcome to Boutiques. And then we'll just do get yours now. Then click save. Then we have point of sale. So because we're selling all online, we're not going to need this. So we'll just go ahead and uninstall this. So then we have the app section. So in here you can add apps like tracking for your store, which I will show you in a later video. All right, so one more thing I want you to do is go ahead and purchase your domain for your store. So go to settings, go to domains, then click buy new domain. And because we verified this with Google that it's available, it should be available here. So just type in the store name that you chose, then click buy. So then you'll have to add a payment method, so go to open billing settings. So once you've added your card, go back to domains and then retype the domain you used. All right, then click buy domain. Then you're just gonna wanna verify your email. All right, then click on approve, verify information. Then you'll see SSL pending. Don't worry about this since we already verified. Just give this a few hours and it'll be updated. Then go down here to change domain type and just make sure it's set to primary domain. And the last thing I want you to do is go down to email forwarding. So Shopify has set this up by default. As you can see, it's info@boutiques.com when I actually use shopboutiques@gmail.com. So whenever a customer emails info@boutiques.com, it will go directly to my Gmail. So this will give your customers a lot more trust when they email you. All right, so now let's set up our Shopify settings. At the bottom left, click on settings. In the general tab, click on edit. I'm just gonna use my store name and put in your phone number. And this is the email that Shopify will contact you on. And depending on the location where you set up your store, all these should be accurate, but just make sure they're right. So just make sure that your store currency fits the country that you're selling to. For plan, because I'm on the trial mode, I still have 2 days remaining. Just choose a plan and select basic and then subscribe. And here under billing, this is where you can see your payment methods and then your subscription. Then you have users and permissions. So here you can add staff and collaborators to help with your store. So this is extremely important. So you need to make sure that you have credit card processors available for your store. So depending on your location, if you're in the US, you should have Shopify Payments available. But if you don't have Shopify Payments, Stripe, or PayPal available, go to Google, type in payment providers in your country. So most of these providers will require you to have a business already registered. But if you're using Shopify Payments, which most of you will be using, you can actually start just as an individual. So back onto the Payments tab, click on Complete Account Setup. So in here, you have to submit all your business information. So depending on the country that you're living in, you may not even have all these available. But because I'm in the US, I can simply choose an individual if I don't have a registered business, which most of you probably don't have yet. So I'm gonna select an individual. So just make sure you fill this in all correctly, because if not, if you fill in fake information, Shopify will hold your payments and they will not send out your money. Then just click next. So then just select your category. For most of you, you'll click on retail. And then depending on the niche you're in, for the subcategory, you can select that one here. For me, I'm just gonna go with home goods and furniture. Then we're just gonna write, we sell home decor products. So here under store phone number, this is the actual number that will show up on your customer's bank statements when they place an order from your store. So if you don't want to use your personal phone number, you can just put in a fake number and that'll be fine too. So down here, if you're doing business as a name other than what you put in for your personal ID, then I would add that here. If not, you don't have to add it. Click on next, click on confirm. And then to improve the chances of these details being verified, you can always upload a bank statement or a utility bill, but you don't have to do that. Then click on confirm, click on agree, submit for verification. So you may want to turn on the two-step authentication to avoid your payouts being paused. And you definitely want to make sure that you have all these recovery codes just in case you get locked out of your account. So download this and make sure it's stored in a good place. Then click on continue. Then always remember, you can always set up PayPal, which a lot of customers do want to see PayPal on their website because it does have a lot of fraud protection, so they do feel more comfortable if you do have PayPal. But this is definitely good to have if PayPal still accepts you, which they don't for me. Then everything else on this tab should be good. Just make sure the payment capture method is automatically at checkout. Then next for checkout, then here under customer contact method, choose email. Then just go below and then require first and last name. For the company name, don't include it. For the address line 2, make it optional. For shipping address phone number, don't include. So for marketing options, we're going to click email and pre-select it. And then you can just leave everything else and click on save. Then you have customer accounts. We don't even need this. Then we'll move on to shipping and delivery. So in here, you'll set up your shipping settings. So click on general shipping rates. So the first thing you want to do is just delete your shipping zones. We're going to create our own. So click on add shipping zone. And then we're going to call this worldwide. And then enable all the countries. Then click done. So I like to add my own name for the shipping. So what you'll want to do is type in insured shipping. And then make shipping $4.95. So now I recommend charging for shipping under a certain amount for your store. So for example, if a customer places an order for under $50, we're going to charge them $4.95 in shipping. If they place an order for over $50, we're going to give them free shipping. So let's set that up here. Then add conditional pricing. So for all orders that are between $0 and $49.99, they're going to have to pay $4.95 in shipping. So click on done. And then now we have to give them free shipping for orders over $50. So go to add rate, use the same name, insured shipping, leave this as free, add conditional pricing based on order price. So the minimum price they're going to get free shipping would be $50. So now our shipping rates are set up. And if you see a message down here that says not covered by your shipping zones, just make sure that you go into these tabs again and make sure you select all the countries so that you're not missing any of the zones. So now, even though we're not going to be advertising to every country, at least in the beginning, we want to make sure that if an order comes in from another country, they can still check out. After that, go to markets. So in order for customers to check out internationally, you're going to want to make this active. So as you can see right now, it's inactive. So click on this, turn to active, click save, go back. Then you might see this message down here, 209 countries are not in any of your markets. Click on that, then type in other international markets, then select all of these. Then go back to shipping and delivery and edit the shipping zones. Then make sure all of these are checked. Click done, save. So now that all the international markets are enabled, customers from any country can check out on our website. Now that that's done, go to preferences. Scroll below and turn off compare at price hiding. So when you turn off this option, you'll be able to run a sale on your store. Then go to apps and sales channels and uninstall the email app because we will not be using it. And then go to taxes and duties. So in the beginning, you won't have to worry about taxes at all. But once you have money coming in, reach out to a tax professional and then they will help you get set up in all the countries you've been selling to manage all your taxes. But in the beginning, you don't have to worry about this. Then you have locations, so this is the actual location of your store. You could add your own address, but it's not necessary. So in the notifications tab, you're going to want to use the sender email as the email that was set up by default from Shopify. So if you remember in the last video, the email forwarding was info@storename.com. So we're going to want to use this exact email. Whatever you have as your store name for the forwarding email, copy that, go back to notifications, paste it here, click save. Then you want to make sure we verify this email, so go ahead and click resend verification. Then once inside, click on verify email. And now all of our emails will be sent from info@boutiques.com. So in the languages tab, you can add multiple languages, but in the beginning, you're going to want to just use your default language. All right, so here within policies, make sure return rules are turned off. And then we need to make sure that we create a return and refund policy along with these others down here. So click on return and refund policy, click on insert template. Then you want to go through this and make sure you remove all these return addresses. And then scroll below and make sure everything looks correct. So the privacy policy is already automated. We don't have to change this. For terms of service, same thing. We just want to insert a template. So we just want to go through this again. Just want to remove all the parts that are in brackets, all these here. Go through this and make sure that there's no other brackets. So for shipping policy, you can just simply create something very basic. What I like to use is something like this. This should be good enough for your store. So I'll just go ahead and click publish. And then for contact information, add something very basic just like this. Use your store name and then click publish. So all you need to do is go to Google, type in font get, click on the first link. And as you can see, there are many types of logos that you can choose from basic to old school, fancy, cartoon. So just scroll through these and see which ones that you feel like will fit your brand the most. So to see how your logo would look with each of these fonts, right here under the enter preview text, type in your brand name. So I like this one right here, the Holland Vintage one. So all I'm gonna do is screenshot it. And then as you can see, that took less than 2 minutes to create. And now you have a professional logo for your store. Now in order to cut out the white background behind your logo, what you'll want to do is just go to Google, type in transparent background remover, and just click on this first one. Once you're here, just drag and drop the logo that you took a screenshot of, and then click download. And then as you can see, this is a transparent background with your logo and brand name. Now AliExpress is the supplier I recommend using in the beginning. They have the largest variety of products and the cheapest prices. Now De-essers is an app that allows you to fulfill the orders through AliExpress. So I'm going to show you how to do that after. So once you're on AliExpress, click on register and then sign in with Google, the same account that you created for your store. So as you can see, your AliExpress account is now created. So whenever you first sign up for AliExpress, there's always going to be a welcome deal. So when you go to look for products on AliExpress to sell on your website, you want to make sure that you're getting accurate pricing. So in order to remove the welcome deal and get an accurate price, you're going to want to purchase an item that's very cheap, just so that you can get rid of the welcome deal and start finding products with accurate information or prices. So for example, if you wanted to purchase this luxury handbag, as you can see, they're giving us a 50% off deal, which is probably not the case if you already purchased an item on AliExpress, because only new users are going to have the welcome deal. So let's just go through each of these settings really quickly. So at the top here, you can click on my orders, and then all your orders will be here. So for payments, once you get orders from customers on your store, you're going to be using AliExpress to pay for these orders. So make sure you add your credit card here. So down here is the message center. This is where you can message your suppliers if you have any questions about the products. So the next thing you want to do is add the De-essers app to your store. So go to apps, then go below to the Shopify App Store, and then search De-essers. Then click De-essers AliExpress Dropshipping. This is the official app that AliExpress created for dropshipping. So click install, then click create an account for you. So the only plan you'll need is the basic plan. So click on get started, and then click here to link and authorize AliExpress. And now your De-essers account has been created. So I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of the De-essers app. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you install the Chrome extension. This will help you import products and process orders. Click Chrome extension and add to Chrome. So next you have the report page. So here you can see a report of all your sales. Within product research, you'll see a bunch of featured TikTok ads that you can kind of analyze as an example, and also see if there's any products that you may want to use for your website. And then under find suppliers, you can actually look for suppliers that have been shipping from the US. You can also find products that are in different niches, such as home decor, sportswear, women's shoes. So this is one place where you can do some product research. So if you want to ship from a specific country, for example, the USA, you can click on filter. And if you filter it by these countries, you can find products that have been shipping from these countries. But generally for product research, you want to use the official AliExpress website. So under supplier optimizer, let's say you found a product on AliExpress that you want to use, but maybe you want a better price or a different supplier. You can always paste that link here, and then this will give you different options for other suppliers. Then you have the import list. When you import products, it will show here. And then under my products, this is where you can manage all the products that you've added to your store. So here under open orders, click on AliExpress. And then under the awaiting order tab, this is where you'll find all the customers that placed an order on your store. Then all you'll have to do is go in here and click on place order with AliExpress, and then you'll fulfill it and process it all through this app here. And then you have archived orders. This is for all the orders that have already been completed. Then you have tracking. This is a paid feature that we do not need. Then you have settings. First thing you want to do is close the setup guide. So you just want to make sure this is turned on and make sure this is set to global. And you want to make sure the shipping method is AliExpress standard. So this is typically the fastest shipping method that you can use. So just go with AliExpress standard shipping and then click save. Then go below, you can leave everything else as is. Then under supplier management, as you can see, our AliExpress account is added here. So here in the order section, you want to make sure we write a note for every time an order gets placed. And in your order note, you want to make sure you write, "We are dropshipping. Please do not include any branding invoices or promotional materials." Because the whole point of dropshipping is so that the customer understands that they're getting the product directly from your brand, not from a supplier in China. So anytime you process an order through AliExpress or De-essers, they're going to see this note here, and they will not send out any promotional materials. So make sure you turn on canceled orders optimization. So for any time an order gets canceled on AliExpress, de-essers will optimize that cancellation to make sure you can place that order as soon as possible. So after that, go up top, go to general settings, click on notification, turn all of these on. So for any time you have an inventory or price change, or a change in SKU or a canceled order, you will get a notification. Then you have package tracking. This is a paid feature. You do not need this. And then click show more settings. So if you want to add staff in the future, you can do that here. Then you have resource management. So this just shows you the number of products and suppliers you're able to have on your de-essers account. Then you have the app list. This is all the apps that are connected to de-essers. So as you can see, we have Shopify and then AliExpress. And I guess I have a Temu account connected, which I did not realize, but you do not need this. So this just shows all the synchronization that happens with de-essers. You do not need to synchronize the order notes or the order customization information. So under products, we're going to be using de-essers fulfillment, so enable this. And then for the supplier ID, leave this unchecked as well. So after that, you have your sales channel settings. So the first one is store management. So if you have multiple stores, you can add them here. Then you have pricing and currencies. Anytime there's a price change, you want to make sure it's done on Shopify, not on de-essers. So leave that unchecked. Then you have synchronize to store. Under here, you want to make sure everything is set to do nothing. Then under product, you want to make sure these settings are the same. Make sure tax is not enabled unless you are registered for tax. And then here under fulfill flow manager, you do want to make sure you add your PayPal account, because every time an order gets placed through de-essers will send the tracking number to PayPal, and then PayPal will trust their account a lot more to avoid the risk of getting disabled like I have already. So in this case, I can't add it, but if you do have an active PayPal account, I would definitely recommend to add it here. And then for the fulfillment settings, make sure it's set to fulfill items in bulk. And then you have your email settings. Make sure it's set to send upon receiving tracking number, and then you can leave everything else the same. And then under shipping carrier, make sure you select auto detect carrier used by suppliers, because if for any reason your supplier does not use the carrier that you had selected, they will be able to detect which carrier is being used. And then leave the custom tracking URL as custom. And that's all you have to do for the de-essers settings. And if you have any questions, de-essers is actually a really big help, so you can always live chat them if you have any other questions. Click save, and then you're good to go. So on the Shopify dashboard, the first thing you want to do is go to products, then click add product. So for this example, I'm going to create a listing for the LED motion light sensor. So let's call it LED motion light automatic sensor. So I've already gone ahead and created the description for this product. So I'm just going to paste it here. So let's walk through the format as to why it's set up the way it is. So right here, you have the one core value proposition for purchasing the product. So because we're selling an LED motion light sensor, the core value proposition is never be left in the dark again. The ultimate LED motion sensor light for instant illumination. And then we followed up with a paragraph demonstrating how it works. So this innovative light automatically turns on when it detects motion, providing bright and energy efficient illumination. No fumbling for switches in the dark. Keep your home well lit and safe. And below that are additional information on benefits, for example, smart motion detection, energy efficient, versatile application, easy installation. Again, just very simple, to the point. So to get inspiration on how you should create your description, you can simply just go to Google, type in your product, and then at the end write .myshopify. And then you'll see a bunch of Shopify websites that are currently selling the same product. For example, this one. Now, I'm not saying to copy them completely. You wouldn't want to do that. So what you want to do is go through how they're selling it. Look at their product description and what they're writing about. So for example, they're calling it Bright Beam LED Motion Sensor Cabinet Light. It's usually good to make it an actual name so that people can recognize what they're purchasing and be able to give out recommendations in the future. Hey, I bought the Bright Beam LED motion sensor light. And then you can go on Amazon and look for listings that are also selling the same product, and you can also get inspiration from them as well. For example, this one right here. Just take bits and pieces of what you find to be relevant for your product and then use it on your store. And I also want to show you a new feature that Shopify came out with using AI. So you can create your descriptions pretty easily by going to generate text, typing in the title of your product, click generate. Something as simple as this would also be good enough to use as your description for your website. And you can even change the tone from persuasive to expert. So there's many different ways to come up with descriptions. Another way to come up with product descriptions is by using ChatGPT. Create a product description for, and then type in your product. So this is a perfect example of what you can add for your description. And something I didn't mention was the GIF that I have here. As you can see, it's showing it's in the dark and then in the light. So to add GIFs onto your product description, which would definitely enhance the look and design of your product page, go back to Google, type in your product, then at the end, type in GIFs. So you can click on one of these links here, or you can just go to images. As you can see, they're GIFs. So find one that's relevant to your product, and then to add it into your product description, you want to go to insert image, and then make sure you just copy and drag the GIF here, click it, and click done. And then that GIF will pop up right here, and then you can always change the size. And then below the GIF, I have just additional benefits and features. Really, I only added this just to make this a little bit more visually appealing, because as you know, people get bored very easily, so you want them to be engaged and ready to purchase your product. So next we want to add product images for our listing. And it's really important that you find high quality professional type images for your product. So the best way to find product images is to find the top sellers that are already doing very well with that particular product. For example, on fastmoss.com, under home improvement, this person is ranked number 2 selling the exact same product. So click on his listing and you can kind of just go through his pictures to see what he's listed. So because I plan on selling all 4 of these variations, I can just use this picture. But it's never good practice to just copy someone else's picture. So what you'll want to do is go to Canva and edit it yourself a little bit and then add it onto your website. So now I'm in Canva, and what I did was dragged and dropped all the pictures that I took a screenshot of into Canva. So one important thing that you want to make sure of is that each picture that you have on your website all has the same dimensions. So the format that I'm using is 1080 by 1080 px, as you can see right here, which is also the same dimensions as Instagram. And just make sure it's centered and just rinse and repeat for all the photos. So now we have to download them, go to share, make sure it's JPEG. We want to select all the images, download. So then we want to go back to our website, paste them here, and perfect. So now we have all the images with the same dimensions. It's all even and it looks professional. And then more places to find images is by going on AliExpress, and then go down, go to description. Then as you see, there's other images here that you can also use by taking a screenshot or just by dragging the image over to your desktop. So after you add your product images, you want to add your product pricing. So in general, you want to have a 3 to 5 times markup. So for example, if you buy a product on AliExpress and ship it to the customer, and in total it costs you $5, you want to make sure you're pricing that up at least 3 to 5x. So price between $15 and $25. So for example purposes, I'm going to set a price at $19.95, and I'll set the compare at price at $29.95. So if we look at what it means, it's basically displaying a markdown. So when they go on your product listing, they're going to see that the price was $29.95, but now it actually costs $19.95. So here you want to uncheck charge tax on this product, because in the beginning you're not charging for tax. And for the cost per item, you can leave all this blank. And then for inventory, you want to make sure it's stocked at de-essers. And we're using de-essers because that's how we're going to be fulfilling all these items through de-essers. And you want to uncheck track quantity, because on AliExpress, if the supplier runs out of the items, we can always just choose a different supplier to fulfill our orders. And here we want to add a SKU. Even though it's not very important, we do want to make sure that we have a SKU for each product that we have on our store. So I'll just do B123 and make sure it requires shipping, and you can ignore the weight. So click on variants. So click add options like size or color. And what I really want to use is just size, but I don't see that here. It looks like I see bulb size and nothing else. So I'll just create a custom option called size. And now I'm going to type in the option values and then explain what I did after. So I did small, medium, large, and XL. And then next to each one is the dimensions of the actual product. So it's 4 inches or 10 centimeters and so on. So click done. And we don't need to add a color variation because we are selling only one color, and that's white. But if you did want to create another option, you can just go to add another option and then click the different ones there. So below that, we have the search engine listing. So this is what they'll see when they go to search for your product on Google. So what we want to do is edit this, and naturally they give a very long description, which is based on what we wrote. So we just want to shorten this to about that. And below here we have the URL handle. So if you did want to change this, you can change the very end after products just to make it a little shorter, because it does look more cleaner when the handle is shorter. And we don't have to create a URL redirect because we are going to just continue with this handle instead of this one. So we don't even need to do that. All right, so then after that, we just want to scroll all the way up and make sure we set the listing to active. And make sure for sales channels you only have the online store enabled, and then for markets you have all your markets that you had enabled in the back end where we set that up. And then to scroll down, just make sure this is also added to our homepage collections. And now that all that's done, click on save. And now our product listing has been created. And one thing I forgot to do was add the variant images based on the size. So for each time a customer clicks on small, medium, large, or XL, they will see the exact size that they would get. So because the images on AliExpress weren't very good, I'm going to use the same exact image that I saw from the listing on fastmoss.com, which is this one here. So here's where Canva comes in handy. And this is why it might be a good idea to get the pro version, because there's a lot of features that you will end up using for your website design. So what I want to do is display each variation separately so that each variation can have its own picture. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So click on the image, click edit, click magic eraser, and then all you want to do is take out everything that's not what you want to add for your picture. Click erase. And I still have some extra stuff down here that I missed, but I can just simply do this and then that. So I'm actually going to edit this further and take out this part here and then add my own to make it look a little bit more clear. So there's many different things within Canva that you can do to enhance the image quality. So go to adjust, and then in this tab you can see there's different options I can choose, like sharpness. So I'm going to edit this up and make sure I do the same exact edits for all the other variations, and then I'll come back and then show you the final result. So as you can see, I've created 4 different variations of each size. So this is small, medium, large, XL. So what we want to do now is just go back to Shopify, click on small, then just drag all the images in there. So for small, I'm going to pick this image. Then for medium, click on the medium image, and so on. And now, so when someone clicks a specific variant, that image will show. So now that the product page has been created, we now have to go into de-essers and connect the AliExpress supplier to our store so we can start fulfilling orders. To do that, go to apps, click de-essers, and here we are on de-essers. Let me X this out. We want to go to my products. Then we want to click on import products from Shopify. Click on the product we just created, import, and now our LED motion sensor light has been imported to de-essers. And now we want to link our supplier on AliExpress to de-essers so that we can fulfill orders. Click on mapping. So once you find the supplier that you want to use on AliExpress, all you have to do is go to the top of the URL, click copy, go back into de-essers, and then paste the link right here and click OK. And then go to standard mapping and turn this on. And now we just need to connect the correct variant to the product. So go here and click import supplier. And if it doesn't pop up here, paste the link again, click OK. So I'm only going to be using one color, which is warm white. For small, it's going to be the 10 centimeter option. So we'll click confirm, and then we'll just repeat the same process for each of the variants. And now when we get an order on Shopify, we can easily fulfill the orders through de-essers. So the first thing we want to do is go to online store, and then click pages. So before we do that, I'm going to remove the password that we have set on our store so people can actually visit our website. So uncheck restrict access to visitors with password, click save, and now our online store is open to everyone. So let's go back to pages. So the first thing we want to do is delete the contact page. So click into this and then delete page. So the first page that we want to create is an about us page. So go to add page, type in about us. So to make this process simple, let's go to ChatGPT. So because I'm in the home improvement or decor niche, I've already typed a prompt for ChatGPT to come up with, and this is the one I'm going to use. Very short, simple. Paste it here. And of course, we just want to remove the brackets and put your store name. And then click save. All right, so now we want to create the FAQ page. So go here and click create another page. So let's just call it FAQs. And below this video, I've attached a FAQ template for you to just copy and paste. And we just want to make sure it's formatted properly. So that's why you see me taking out some of the spaces, and then add your own correct store name and email. All right, so click save. And the next page we want to create is a shipping page. So let's go back. So go to add page, write shipping. So I wrote something very basic. Due to high demand, orders may take 1 to 3 weeks to arrive. Please email us at info@yourstorename for any questions. So the next page we want to create is a contact us page. So go here and click create another page. In all caps, type in contact us. Just write something very simple. If you have any questions, please email us at info@yourstorename. We will respond to you within 24 hours, and then make sure you do. So this page is definitely really important. You need to make sure that it's on your store in case customers have any questions. So the next page we want to create is a track your order page so that customers can go ahead and track their orders every time there's an order placed. So to do that, go to apps and then go to Shopify App Store. And we're going to download the Track 123 app. And this is the app I want you to download. All right, then click install. So now we're on the dashboard of the Track 123 app. So Track 123 has two plans. One is free and one is the paid plan. So for the free plan, customers can track up to 100 orders on your website. So that's all we'll actually need in the beginning. And then later on, once you get more orders, you can always upgrade. So as you can see on the very top, it says the tracking page is generated successfully. But then later on, we're going to add this to our navigation menu. So then it says, can I remove the Track 123 brand from my tracking page? So all you have to do there is contact support, and then they'll verify your store, and then they will remove their branding from the page. So that's something you can do later on. So here's the shipping performance. So once you get orders on your store, you'll be able to track which ones had a failed attempt or which ones are out for delivery. So this will give you some insight as to how your orders are being shipped. So the first thing we want to do is go to tracking page. So there's different themes we can choose for our tracking page. I like the traditional one because it's very clean and looks simple. And then we'll just scroll below, leave everything else the same. And again, if you want to remove this powered by Track 123, you want to contact them or just upgrade your plan. And then down below under tracking information, it's always best to only have one option selected. So I like to go with the tracking number only because most customers know their tracking number and that's like the easiest option for them. And then for the layout, I recommend having just tile. Again, the more simple, the better. So for tracking details, you want to make sure you select show all information, just so customers can see all the previous tracking details that were associated with their order. And then for style, I like to go with display a vertical progress bar. And then for map coordinates, make sure you put destination address because you don't want to use current package location because then they're going to see that their package was in China. So you just want to make sure that they're seeing their address, which is this one right here. And then package content, you can show product and quantity. And then for carrier, make sure you uncheck link to carrier native tracking page because we don't want to send these customers to a Chinese tracking page. It will just lower the trust and it will just make it more confusing for them. So to ensure that they're only tracking on your website, make sure that's unchecked. So for product source, this is where you can actually upsell customers on your tracking page. Typically, most people won't buy off your tracking page, but if you get 1 out of 100, that's still extra money. And then everything else you can just leave as is. So just make sure we click save. And then we can skip through all these other tabs and just go to add-ons. So this is one of the most important parts of the app. So we definitely want to turn on blacklisted routing. So for example, I added China and AliExpress. So whenever words like China or AliExpress are mentioned in the tracking information, it will instead show as in transit to next facility. Because overall, customers don't really like the fact that it's coming from China, even though that's where they get most of their products anyway. So you can always add other keywords or locations to remove on your tracking page. And then everything else we can leave the same. And for estimated delivery time, ideally, we'd like to turn this on, but this is for the advanced plan, so we can just leave it how it is. So then we just want to click save, and then go into settings. And then for the first option, update Shopify's native tracking links, we want to make sure that's turned on because whenever a customer gets a notification with their tracking information, we don't want to send them to any native or Chinese websites to track their order. We want to make sure they're being tracked on our website. And then we also want to turn on send shipping tracking events to Shopify. So for example, whenever an order is out for delivery or it's delivered, that notification will be sent to the customer. And then we definitely also want to turn on dropshipping mode features. This just helps for carrier matching, displaying the destination address, and hiding all Chinese characters. All right, so now we saved it. So that's all we have to do for the tracking page. So after that, go to the dashboard of the Track 123 app, copy this link here because we're going to add it to our store navigation menu. So I'm going to show you how to do that in just this next part in this video. All right, so next we're going to go to our online store and add all these pages to our navigation bar. So click navigation and then go to main menu. All right, so I just made the title capital, it just looks better. And I'm also going to change the home page to all capitals and then delete the catalog page. So remember, this is all for the navigation bar at the top of our website. So the next menu I'm going to add is the About Us page. So click Add Menu Item, About Us, and then connect the About Us page. Add. And then next we want to add a featured collection page. So this will be a link to our homepage collection. Because remember, all the products that we create are added to the homepage collection. And the next page we want to create is an order lookup page or track order page. So I'll just type in track order, and then paste the link that we copied from the Track 123 page. And then next we want to add the FAQ page. Click add. And then we want to create the shipping page. And then lastly, we want to add the contact us page. And then click add. So just to make this look a lot better, I'm going to add a support page, which will include all three of these inside that support page. So let's go here, type support. And then for the link, we'll just do the contact us page. So let's move this up. And then we're just going to move all three of these pages within the support page. So let's do this. And now our main menu navigation has been created. So click save. And then next we want to create our footer menu as well. So go back to navigation, go to footer menu. So in the footer menu, we're going to add the FAQs, the shipping policy, the terms of service, and the privacy policy. So first we just want to delete the search menu and also delete the do not sell or share my personal information. And we're going to add the FAQs first. Click add. So then we just want to add our refund policy. Click policies and then go to refund policy. And then privacy policy. Then terms of service. And then contact us. So I'm just going to move the contact us page right below the FAQ page and then click save. And now your footer menu has been created. Now this is where the fun starts because we get to design our store however we want. To get started, go to online store, go to themes, and then scroll down and you'll see all the most popular themes from Shopify. So I'm most used to using the Sense theme, which is this one right here, but I'm going to try one completely different. So I'm going to go with refresh. So there's also more themes we can choose from. If you go to visit theme store down below and just click free, and then you can see all 13 of Shopify's free themes. But in this example, I'm going to use the refresh theme. So once you've picked your theme, click on try theme. And then as you can see, it's building templates, building pages. So now our theme has been created. So once you click on try theme, it's going to load you right into the back end of it where we can actually customize it. So I highly recommend you guys to take the time to learn your way around the theme editor because you're going to be spending a lot of time in here in the beginning. So in order to customize specific pages on your store, you want to go up here and click the homepage button. And then in here, these are all the pages on your website that you can customize. And to the right, we have the different views. So right now we're in the desktop view, and then this is mobile, and then this is full screen. But I recommend to stay inside the mobile view because most people that are visiting your website are going to be on their phone on mobile. So it's always best to make edits on mobile. So to get started, let's click on the announcement bar. So the announcement bar is what you see at the very top of your store. So first we're just going to change the color scheme and then go from there. So to keep simple in mind, it's always best to have a black background with white text, but depending on your niche or the store you have, you may want to choose different colors. So this part is all up to you, but I'm going to go with a black background and white text. So I'm going to change the color scheme to number 3, and then I'm going to edit this and change the background to black. And then our text is white. And the solid button color will also be black. And the shadow will also be black. So this is the color scheme we're choosing for our announcement bar. All right, then go back, click on X, and then we want to uncheck show separator line. And we don't want icons for desktop. We don't want to rotate our announcements. And we can leave these here unchecked as well. And then if you go to the theme settings, this is where you can add your social media, but we're not going to do this in this video. So now that we've changed the color of the announcement bar, let's change the actual text. So go back and then click this option. So I'm going to write free shipping over $50. And then with this link, if you add a specific product for the announcement bar, if they were to click on the announcement bar, it would go directly to that product. But for this example, we're not going to add a link. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is add our header, which is this part right here. So for the main menu, we don't have to touch this. As you know from the last video, we created a menu, which is these 5 options here. But because we're not changing it, we can just move on. Below that is the sticky header. We can leave that as on scroll up. And we want to go below and turn off the country and language selector. Scroll down and we're also going to remove the padding. And then under theme settings, we're going to turn off enable search suggestions. And then just scroll down and we're going to want to change the cart type to page. And the reason for this is because when we use page as our cart type, we have an opportunity to upsell them. So now we're going to add our logo, which will go here. And that logo is the same one that we created from the previous video. But if you remember, we created a black logo, so that's not going to work with our current theme. So in order to fit our theme, we have to invert it to make it white so it looks better on our store. To do that, go to Google and type in invert colors. Click on Pine Tools, and once it's uploaded, click invert. So let's download it as a JPEG file. So to upload this to our store, go to Theme Settings, click on Logo, import the image right here. And as you can see, it's uploaded to our store and looks professional. So the next thing we want to add is a favicon, which is this one right here. So a favicon is an image that shows on the tab of your browser. So once we do that, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you're not limited to what icon you should use for your website as long as it's relevant. So if you can't think of any specific icon that you would want to use, you could just go to Canva and then upload your logo. And a very simple way to create a favicon for your website is by just adding the first letter of your brand name. So this could be a favicon all in itself. So what I'll do is just take a screenshot. So to upload an actual icon for your store, go to Google and type in icons 8 and click on the first link. So let's say, for example, you sell gym equipment or gym clothing. Type in workout, and then you'll see a bunch of different icons you can use. So just go through these and find which one makes most sense for your store. Then once you find one, click on the image, click download, and then go down to favicon and click on 32 by 32 because this is the best quality. And then just click download. But because I'm going to use the one I created in Canva, I'm going to go with that. So go back to Shopify, go to select image, then download your icon, click done, and then click save. So next we want to add an image to our homepage. So to do that, go back to sections and go to slideshow. So in here you want to leave everything as is, except for down here for mobile layout, you want to remove show content below images on mobile. And then go back and click browse our latest products. And this is where we upload our image. So to get a high quality image for your homepage, go back to Google, type in Unsplash. So click on Unsplash, and then in the search box, type in your niche. So I'll type in home decor, and then go through and pick whichever image you feel fits best for your store. Alright, so I found an image and downloaded this one, but I do want to make it a little bit more brand specific. So I'm going to make a slight tweak or edit on this picture in Canva, and here it is. So a small edit like this would be perfect. So I'm going to run with this, and then go back to Shopify and upload the image, and then remove the heading. And we're also going to remove the shop all button. Alright, so once that's done, go back. So next we want to edit the featured collections. So click on this option here, and let's remove this and put it in all caps and type featured collection. So I'm going to leave the description blank, but if you wanted to add something, you could add something like, here's a list of our products. And it will show up right there, but we're not going to add it, so I'm just going to delete it. Then scroll down. For collection, we want to make it the homepage collection. So change collection, click homepage, select. So this is the collection we made before for our products. So once you have more products added to your store, you'll be able to choose the maximum products you want to show. So for maximum products to show on this page, I'll just configure it to 8, but you can choose whichever one you want. And for the color scheme, I'm going to change it to scheme 2. And then we want to make sure the color matches, so make sure the background's white and the text is black. And now our featured collection is done, so click save, and then go back, click X, and then scroll down. We want to make sure we turn off quick add, so click on none. And the reason is because you want people to go directly to the product page from the collection. You don't want them to buy from the collection. And then go to theme settings, and let's turn off reveal sections on scroll. And I'm going to edit this again to change it to scheme 2, just like the last one. And also going to edit it to make sure everything is the same, which it is. And for color scheme 4, so what this will do is change the color of the sale item. So as you can see right now it's blue. So I'm going to change it to red. Alright. So now this is the color of our sale. And if you wanted to remove this, you can contact Shopify and they'll remove it for you. Alright, let's click save. Let's go back. And for the footer, which is exactly down here, so just click into it and you'll be able to edit it. So I'm going to leave this as is. Let's make it a little bit smaller. So I just made a little change here. So you can edit this exactly how you want. Click save. So click onto the footer down here. So what I'm going to do first is turn off the enable follow on shop button, turn off the social media icons, turn off the country selector, and turn off the enable language selector. The only thing I'm going to show is the payment icons. And also turn off show policy links because we're going to add this ourselves and it will look a lot better. So then click save and then go back. So under footer, click add block, click menu, and here they are. So as you know, these were all configured in a previous video. So all I'm going to do is change the name of quick links to footer menu. So what we also want to do is remove the Powered by Shopify branding. So to do that, first click Save and then go back to your themes. And then click on the three dots here and click Edit Default Theme Content. And then search Powered by Shopify. So all you have to do to remove it is click into it and click spacebar, then save. And now let's go back to our theme. Then scroll down, and as you can see, the Powered by Shopify button is not there. So the next page we want to edit is our product page. So click on the home page, click products, and then click default product. Alright, so to get started, let's go to product information. Alright, so we can leave these settings as is right here. Let's leave the desktop layout as thumbnail carousel. So let's see that on desktop. So as you can see, it's done right here. But let's go back to mobile view. So desktop media position will be on the left. Let's leave this as open lightbox. And for mobile layout, we're going to show thumbnails. So this will let customers choose which product image they want to see. And then for padding, we're going to make this a little bit smaller. Then theme settings. And so for scheme 1, we're going to edit this and make sure it's a white background. And we'll make the text black. Solid button color is black. The solid button label is going to be white. And then the rest of these are going to be black. Again, just making it congruent with all the other parts of our store. So let's click save. So let's go all the way back to default product, go to product information. So now we're going to remove some things here that are not necessary or required for our store. So first we're going to want to delete the text, so we do not need that. So we want the title, we want the product rating, which we'll make later on. We want the price, we want the variant picker, we want the quantity selector. And for the buy button, I recommend turning this off. I recommend the normal checkout process. When someone adds to cart, then they initiate checkout. So let's turn off these two buttons. So as you can see, it's just add to cart. So let's go back. And then we have the product description. And then we have the share button, which we do not need, so we'll delete this. So now the product page is complete, and we're going to be adding more apps later on in a different video, which will definitely increase your sales and make it look overall better. But now that we're done with this, let's go to the next page, which is the collections. Click on default collection. So here we have the collection banner. We're just going to hide it. Then go to product grid. And then again, turn off quick add button, because we want people to check out from our product page, not our collections page. And then to tighten up this space, we're going to reduce some of the padding. So I'll just lower this down a little bit. All right, that looks good. So next we want to edit the collection list. So this page is just a list of all our collections. We're not going to be using this on our store, so we can just hide most of these items. All right, then click save. So one of the last things we need to do is edit the checkout page. So go to the top and go to checkout and customer accounts. Click on customize. So we want to add the logo and make sure it's the black text logo that we had. So I've just added mine here. And we also want to make sure we're in mobile view. So let's move this to the middle. And then let's just increase the size of this logo. So that should be good. So to make sure our website's more consistent, again, we want to change the colors. So we'll change the accent to black and the buttons to black. And we can leave all the errors that occur in red and just make sure the background color is completely white. So as you can see, this is our checkout page. This is the thank you page. So once we're done with that, we can simply publish our theme. So the last thing we need to do is edit our email templates to fit our store theme. To do that, go to the bottom left, click settings, notifications, click customer notifications, go to customize email templates. And then we want to add our logo so it can fit right here. So go to add image, click your logo, click save. And then you can change your accent color, which will look like this, to black. And now your email is updated and your theme is ready to go. So inside the order tab, I placed a test order just for this example. So when fulfilling an order, never click on request fulfillment or even fulfill item. You're always going to want to do it through the app de-essers. So to do that, go to apps, click on de-essers, and within the app, go to open orders, click AliExpress, and then here's the order that was placed on the store. The first thing you want to do is check the shipping method. So right now it's AliExpress selection standard, and as you can see, it costs $1.99. Delivery time's about 10 to 13 days, which actually isn't too bad for AliExpress. So all you want to do is click on this, or if you have bulk orders, you'll want to click that. Go to order, and make sure it's ordered by order via API. Click confirm, So now we have to actually pay for the order. So in the awaiting payment tab, or you can click make payment and then click this button down here, click make payment, and then it'll bring you to AliExpress. So all you have to do is click pay now, add your credit card, PayPal, however you want to pay. So I just paid for the order, and as you can see, it's been successful. So now that I'm back in de-essers, it still says awaiting payment, but just give this a few minutes and it will update. So while they're processing the order, it will go to the awaiting shipment tab, and then after it's shipped, it will go to the fulfilled tab. So for the awaiting fulfillment tab, if you have more than one product in an order, for example, they're coming from 2 different suppliers, once they're both shipped, it will go into the fulfilled tab. So then once the order is fulfilled, you'll see this go to 0 and then it will say fulfilled. So until the order has been shipped on AliExpress, it will still say unfulfilled. Only once it's shipped, it will be marked as fulfilled. And then once the order has been marked completed, Shopify will send an email to the customer with their tracking number. So the first thing you want to do is go to business.facebook.com, click on the third option, and then you should be put onto this page here. Go up top, click Get Started, go to Meta Business Suite. All right, then click on Get Started. So to open a Meta Business account, you have to log in with either Facebook or Instagram. So after you're in the Meta Business Suite, you're going to want to go down to Business Settings and then click on Create a Business Portfolio. So I've already done that. So you just want to put in your website name here, put in your first and last name, and then your business email. So here we are on the business settings. The first thing you want to do is create a page. So go to Pages, click Add, click Create New Page. So you just want to call the page name the name of your brand. The category is the niche you're in, and the bio is optional. You can definitely add something here, but I'm going to click Next. All right, so just agree to the terms, click Create Page. All right, so it's been created, so click Done. So just refresh the screen, and then you'll see your page pop up here. And then make sure you do have access to that page. So after you've done that, you want to go to Add Accounts. So it's the same process here. Click Add, create new ad account, type in your store name, and then make sure you set your time zone correctly. Then click Next. This ad account will be used for my business, create, and you want to make sure you give yourself full access. Click Assign, and then at some point you're going to want to add your payment info, but I'll click Close for right now. So after you've done that, go to Data Sources and click on Data Sets. So here's where we actually create our pixel. Click on Add, name the data set as your store name, click Create, and then we're going to want to use MetaPixel and Conversion API. It just tracks it a lot better. Click Next. And we're going to want to choose a partner, but for right now we'll just close this out. And again here, you just want to make sure you assign yourself, give yourself full control, assign, and then you want to go to Connected Assets and then add the ad account that you just created. After you've done that, go down below and go to Domains. So here you want to add your domain name, click Create New Domain, then add your store name, boutiques.com, click Add, and then we want to add this code to our DNS records. So click on this, go to update the DNS text record, and then we want to copy this record, and then go to Shopify, click on Settings, click Domains, click onto your primary domain, click on Go to Root Domain, and then click Edit DNS Settings, go to Add TXT Record, and then put an @ here, then paste the value we just copied, and then click Confirm. And now our DNS record has been added. So now go back to Facebook and click Verify Domain. And now our domain has been verified. So next we want to add the MetaPixel to our Shopify store. So go to your Shopify dashboard and then click Apps, go to the App Store, type in Facebook, click Facebook and Instagram, install, then connect the account, go to Get Started. So just click Next, and then we want to connect the Facebook page we had created. Click Maximum, save, and then connect the pixel you just made. All right, this is all fine. Click Save, I agree, and then submit for review. So right now they're syncing our shop, which could take up to 48 hours. Facebook recently came out with a Facebook catalog shop where they can purchase directly from the catalog on Facebook. So this is taking up to 48 hours. But as we can see, our pixel is active and we can now run ads on Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to make sure your Facebook pixel has been set up properly, all you have to do is go to Google, type in Meta Pixel Helper, click on the first one, add to Chrome. Let's pin that, then type in your domain. And as you can see on Boutiques, our pixel is successfully firing. So we know that everything has been set up properly. Now the Vitals app is really the only app you'll need on Shopify. It has product reviews, currency converters, description tabs, upsells, email marketing, and many more. It's literally more than 40 apps in one. And if you had all these apps individually, it would probably cost you over $300 a month. So I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of the Vitals app right now. All right, so the first thing you wanna do is go to apps and sales channels, Shopify App Store, type in Vitals. The first one, click install. So we have a 7-day free trial, so I'm going to click approve. So I'm going to give you an overview of what these apps have to offer. Now, as you can see, there's over 40 different apps that you can use and explore for your store and find whichever one would make the most sense. So the first tab is conversion. So this is how you can increase your conversion rate on your store. So what this means is these apps will get more people to purchase on your store. So for example, if 100 people go to your store and only 5 people purchase, that means you have a 5% conversion rate. So by using some of these apps, you can easily increase your conversion rate, which will allow you to make more money. So the first thing is the sticky add to cart button. So what this means is when people are scrolling down your product page, the add to cart button will still show where they can easily click add to cart, which will give them easier access to make a purchase on your store. And for related products, all this does is show other products that were purchased from other customers that they may want to also purchase for themselves. So the goal of this is to increase your average order value. So for recently viewed, if a customer was looking at a different product on your store, then that product will show for them, which again will also increase your average order value. So for the animated add to cart, similarly to sticky add to cart, all this does is animates your add to cart button. For example, it will make it shake or any other type of animation. So for the favicon cart count, when a customer adds an item to their cart, it will show the amount of items in their cart in the favicon. And for the inactive tab message, if for example a customer goes onto a different tab, this will display a message on your tab incentivizing them to come back to your store. And so next is the wish list. You might have seen this on other stores like Nike or Fashion Nova. I would say this is more for brands that are more established with reoccurring customers. So if they want to come back and purchase from their wish list, they can always do that. It's not necessarily needed for dropshipping, but this is, of course, something that you can utilize later on. And for the stock scarcity app, this one will show, hey, I only have 10 units left of this item, purchase it now. This just provides some type of urgency for the customer to make the purchase. So the countdown timer is something that I utilize pretty much all year round, even though it's mostly for products that are on a discount for a certain amount of time. So for example, you can have this display right under the add to cart button. It will say you have 2 hours left to purchase before the sale ends. So for shipping information, this one will show how long it will take to ship an order along with how much it will cost. So for example, if you're charging $4.95 for shipping, it will say shipping costs $4.95 and delivery to the US will take 4 to 5 days. So this can boost your conversion rate because customers will know how long it takes for them to receive the item. And then we have pre-orders. This is for brands that are more private label, where they're coming out with a new product and they want to advertise it ahead of time. And it's of course for products that are not currently in inventory. And the size chart is pretty self-explanatory. If you're selling a belt or if you're selling any type of clothing, this will display a chart on the specific measurements on what they should expect for each specific size item. The next one is back in stock. This is for products that went out of stock previously on your store and you want to notify the customer when it's back in stock. So you can do that via email or SMS notification. And then finally, product labels. So this is for products that have key features. If you want to highlight specific features, you can do that by using this app. So the next one is user optimization, UX. So this will optimize how your website and product page looks for your customer. So for visitor replays, this is an actual recording of how the customer is navigating on your store. For example, you'll be able to see which product they're viewing, but of course you won't see the actual checkout where they put in their credit card details, but it does show you their exact movements up until that point. And then currency converter. So if you're selling to multiple countries, the currency will reflect which country they're living in so that they can see prices in their native country. So if you want to remove the PayPal or Apple Pay option, you can simply hide the dynamic checkout button. And this is something I would use because I like to have the checkout process very smooth, by them clicking add to cart and then putting in their payment details from there. And then you have scroll to the top button. So if they're going down your product page, there will be a little arrow where they can click to go all the way back up to make the checkout. So product description tabs, this is something I do recommend. So for example, this will create tabs on your product page like any guarantees you might have, shipping, and key features. Then you have auto external links. So this is when a customer clicks on a link in your store and this will bring them to a new tab instead of the current tab that they're in. So this is just so people don't leave your store. Then you have instant search. So if a customer is looking for a specific product on your store, then they can type it in the search tab and it will allow them to find the product much quicker. So quick access links is just for yourself. So if you want to access important parts of your admin, you can do that here without having to go to the admin section. So then you have WhatsApp chat, Messenger chat, and Instagram chat. So if you want to have a live chat to talk with your customers, you can install either one of these. So next we have upsells. So the goal of upsells is to get customers to purchase more on your store. You don't want customers to come to your store and just buy one item. You want them to buy multiple, because that will in the end increase your conversion rate, which will allow you to make more money. And that could be the difference between profit and no profit. So product bundles, for example, if you're selling a toothbrush, you can add this bundle which will say, hey, you can purchase this toothbrush along with this toothpaste. So volume discounts. So what this is when a customer buys more than one item, usually of the same product, they can get a discount for every item they purchase. So for example, if they have 2 toothbrushes in their cart, it will say add a third one for this percentage off. So buy X, get Y is something as simple as you buy this one and you get this one for free. You can change that up however you'd want. So for spending goal, you can incentivize customers to purchase more on your store to get a discount. Like for example, if you have free shipping over $50, this app will give the customer notice that they'll get free shipping if they spend this amount of dollars. And then here for gift, this is more for higher priced items on your store. So for example, if you're selling a really expensive gadget, they can also get a free gift, which could be like an ebook, for example. Then we have one-click post-purchase. So I actually use a different app for this, but it's the same exact thing. So basically all it is after they make their purchase, after they've gotten their confirmation of their order, they'll be prompted with another pop-up saying, hey, you can purchase this for 50% off. So no matter what product you're selling, even if you only have one product on your store, it's always good to incentivize a post-purchase upsell to increase your average order value. So next we have trust. So these apps will build social proof for your store. So the product reviews app will allow you to collect, import, and display reviews on your product page. So this is one of the most important things you can have to boost your conversion rate. And by the way, never have a 5 out of 5 star rating for each product, because customers do not believe that. It's always better to go with either 4.8 or 4.7. And you can do that all within here. So for recent sales notifications, so this will display notifications every time a customer has purchased on your store. So when a customer that's going to purchase your product sees that, they'll be like, oh, okay, a customer from Texas just purchased, which only increases your social proof as a store. So payment logos are just icons you can have, such as MasterCard, American Express, PayPal. So this lets the customer know that these are accepted and they can use these forms of payment. So next you have trust seals and badges. So this is like free shipping, 100% money back guarantee, quick shipping. So adding trust badges is definitely going to boost the amount of trust that you have with your customer. So next you have shoppable Instagram feed. So this is for people that have an Instagram page where they have products from their store that are being posted on their Instagram. So you can also include that onto your product page or your home page, which again only increases your social proof as a store. So the next one is marketing. So these are apps that again will increase your conversion rate on your store. So for cart notice, this will create urgency and will provide a custom message below their cart items. So for example, it will say, we have reserved your cart for 5 minutes, purchase now. So this is an example of a cart notice. So then you have email marketing. This is definitely really important. So when a customer abandons their cart, you can send them another email saying, hey, you abandoned your cart, and a lot of your purchases will come from email marketing. Then you have pop-ups. So this will give them like a little message when they go to your store. It will say, get 10% off if you subscribe to our emails. So this is a good way to collect emails, because overall only 2 to 5% of people that visit your store are going to purchase. So you might as well collect their email to try and get them back in the funnel to allow them to make a purchase. So for SEO alt tags, if you want your images to rank better for Google search, you can do that within this app here. And then for the announcement bar, this is just another way to capture leads and display important messages. So for Facebook pixels, so we already added our pixel, but this is just another way to do that. Then you have push marketing. So this is another way where you can notify customers. So if they opt in to push marketing, this will allow you to send notifications to them pretty much instantly when you want to make them aware of something or a product on your store. So then you have social media buttons. This will link them to your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever it might be. Then you have spin the wheel. This is another way to collect emails and then offer them a potential discount code. So for example, on the wheel, there may be 5 different offers. One might be get a free product. One might be get free shipping. I'm not the biggest fan of this, but this could be good for some stores. And then lastly, on the protect tab, so this could protect you from your competitors or from other people trying to steal your content, etc. So a lot of times, especially in dropshipping, other dropshippers will try and find out which product is selling the best on your store. So you can use this app to mitigate that risk of them finding out which product is best selling on your store. So then you have content protection. So a lot of times other dropshippers will try and steal your content online. They'll try and copy your GIFs, copy your product descriptions. So this will stop them from being able to do that. And then you have cookie banner, which is something that may be required in the EU, so you can always have that here. Then you have agree to terms checkbox. So this is just for regulations to get consent before they go and check out. So this is not really important, it's not really needed, but these are what these apps are for. Now, product reviews are really important because it's going to build social proof for your store and trust with your customer. Because you wouldn't want to buy from a store that has no reviews. So it's really important that we set this up, and let's jump right into it. And this is going to be set up within Vitals. All right, so click apps, go to Vitals, and then go to reviews. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick overview of the app and also its features, and then we're going to import the reviews from AliExpress onto our website. All right, so this is the dashboard. Here we can import reviews, and then here we can display reviews however we want. Okay, so first we have the review section. So here we're going to obviously import reviews, but there's many different ways we can do that. So for example, you can do it from other apps, from AliExpress, and then as a CSV file. But for us, we're going to use AliExpress. And then we have moderation. We can ignore this. And then we have featured, so we can always feature specific reviews and put them on our homepage. So this is just the import section. So if you've had other apps like GroveWave, Judge Me, Luke's, Stamped, these are all review apps. So if you did have reviews on a different app, you can always take the CSV file from those apps and then import it onto your products. And then there's AliExpress, which is what we're going to do, and then just the basic CSV file. And then here we can request reviews. So because we're dropshipping, we're not going to request any reviews in the beginning. So we're just going to leave all these options. And then groups doesn't really matter. We can skip this. So within analytics, you can actually see how many people have seen or clicked your reviews. So let's go into settings. So for the shape, we're going to use rounded corners and a yellow color. You could use pointed corners, but it's, that's based on what you prefer. And then there's hearts. Yeah, not really sure what the vibe is there, but not a big fan of the hearts. So for sort order, make sure the photos are first. People that visit your website want to see photos of other customers with your product. So showing the photos first are going to be very beneficial. And then for the product page layout, make it grid. You could use list, but I prefer a grid style. So we can leave show rating filter bars on, but then we want to turn off the show review box for products with 0 reviews. And then we can leave this unchecked as well. And then for the number of reviews, you want to make sure it's 20 for desktop and 10 for mobile, because you don't want to have too many reviews showing on your product page. It will just look really messy. Then for reviews information, leave all this as is, but feel free to modify this however you feel like would fit your brand the most, but I like these settings exactly how it is. And then make sure you have the write a review form enabled, because this will allow customers to write a review and also post a photo, but this will allow customers to manually upload their own reviews, which you will have to approve later on. So then for positioning, it's always best to put the reviews at the end of the product page. So we'll leave it at product end section. And that's all that there is for these settings. So now let's go ahead and save and then import the reviews from AliExpress. And then we're going to go to import from AliExpress, then click on the one product that we made. So we're going to select our product. The next thing you want to do is go to AliExpress and then look for the listing that we had connected to de-essers, or you can find any other listing on AliExpress, with a similar product that has a lot of reviews. But I'm going to use the exact one that I linked because this one has a lot of reviews already and it has a pretty good high rating. And remember, you don't have to just use one listing. You can go to multiple listings on AliExpress and then import those reviews onto your product page as well. But because this has so many reviews already, this will be good enough. It's recommended to have at least 100 reviews per product, but you can easily get away with having just 40 to 50 reviews on one product. And as you can see, there's over 2,000 reviews here. All right, so we're going to copy this link and then paste it here. The number of reviews to import is going to be 100, and then import the reviews as published. And then for content options, we want to make sure it's reviews with text or pictures, because we want to have a mix of both. And then make sure it's in English unless your store is in a different language. Then confirm it here and then import reviews. So now that they're imported, we're going to go through them and then edit each one that we feel like it has to be edited so that it looks good for our website. So now here's all the reviews that we imported. So the only thing we can't edit here is the rating. So if we don't like the rating, let's say for example you imported a 1-star review rating, you can just delete the review. I like to have one-star review on my store because no store is perfect, but make sure that 1-star review is not so bad that's going to throw them off from making the purchase. So here we can edit the name, the date, the email, and most importantly, the review. So most importantly, you want to make sure you edit the ones with photos because occasionally you might see a review that has a photo with a different product. So you may want to change out the photo or you may want to delete it altogether. Like for example, this review right here, like we definitely don't want them to see this. So I would definitely delete this one. So just make sure you go through each one of these and delete and edit accordingly. So just make sure to focus on the ones that have photos because those are the ones that are going to show at the top of your review section. And make sure to really look at the text as well because a lot of times you'll see a lot of text that doesn't make sense or it's maybe inappropriate. So this is a bit of a tedious process, but it's definitely important to do so because reviews really impact whether or not a customer will make a purchase on your store because that's definitely going to increase your social proof and trust. So that is how you add product reviews onto your store and that is how you import them. And make sure you do that for all the other products on your store. Now previously I did mention I was going to use a different app for a post-purchase upsell, but because this is your first store, it doesn't make sense to purchase other apps when everything's all in this one app anyway. Plus it gives the same exact benefits, so it really doesn't make too much of a difference. Alright, so to get started, go to apps on the left and go to vitals, then go to apps and click upsells. So in this video, I'm going to set up the product bundles upsell, the volume discount upsell, and also the one-click post-purchase upsell. So the first one we're going to create is going to be a product bundle. So click on the first one and go to create product bundle. So this is what it's going to look like right here on the right. So whenever you have multiple products on your store, you can have a frequently bought together type of bundle. So just to keep it very simple, we're going to go with, for slot A and for slot B, we're going to keep it as any product. Of course, feel free to select any specific product you want to have as frequently bought together, but just for this example, we're going to use any product. And just make sure this is also checked off because customers can now be able to select a different product from the bundle. So giving this option to customers is always helpful. Alright, so next scroll down and go to continue to discount. So this discount is based on if a customer decides to actually buy the bundle, which is the ones that are frequently bought together, and they click add to cart, then they'll get 10% off. But feel free to mess with this a little bit, 15, 20%, 25%, whatever's still within range to make a profit. And you definitely want to make sure it's displayed as the current product price. Alright, so here on this page, we want to make sure it's active. The offer title is going to be frequently bought together. And the reason why I wouldn't recommend changing this is because this is how Amazon sets it up on their storefront. So by being consistent, like how it is on Amazon, even though we're not selling on Amazon, it gives the customer a better experience. And then you want to have add to cart as the button text. And for styling, just keep it automatic so it's the same style as your add to cart button. And for the crossed out price color, keep it red because it stands out more. And then for the advanced settings, show the USave element on mobile and desktop, and then make sure it's visible on desktop and collapsible on mobile. And I like having the border enabled, so we'll leave that as is and the color will be the same. And then keep the cart suggestions on cart page active, because when they get to the cart page, they can still buy these two together. And if you'd like, you can have it on the thank you page and add to cart button. I mean, you could have the add to cart button, but I'm not going to enable it right now. Then once that's done, go to continue to review. So just review this, and then if it's good, click active, and then click save. Enable app. So the next upsell I want to create is a volume discount. So this app allows a customer to get a discount for every additional unit they purchase. Alright, so let's create volume discount. So I'm going to go with table, even though this one does look the best, but the reason I'm not choosing it is because it has too much information, because this might throw off a customer when they see like too many different prices. So I'm going to stick with table and then click next step. Alright, so leave it as any product and then also leave this unchecked, and then we'll scroll down and click continue. So you can choose how many discounts you want. So we're going to add 3 different options. So if they get 2 units, it'll be 10% off. If they get 3 units, it'll be 20% off. Then scroll down and then click continue to appearance. And then again, this is the layout that we had first saw. So we can always switch it to radio selection, badges, which I definitely don't recommend badges. It looks a little scammy. So I'm just going to keep it as table. And for the offer title, let's leave it as buy more, save more. But of course you can change it up however you'd want. For quantity, we're going to leave it as simple. Then for price, we'll do per item, and then savings will be total. And for appearance, I'm going to leave all the default options, but you can change it based on how your brand looks. And then scrolling below, I'm only going to keep it active on the cart page. I'm going to make it inactive for the cart button, and also inactive for the checkout button. Let's continue to review. So as long as everything looks good here, we're going to make it active, and then we're going to save it. And then lastly, my favorite app of them all, is the one-click post-purchase. And the reason why this is my favorite is because they've already made a purchase. So if they wanted to add another item and pay more money onto your store, they can do that with one click. So they don't have to put in any payment information. It's as simple as just clicking a button. So let's create one-click post-purchase. So first we have to make sure it's enabled. So go to Shopify settings. For post-purchase page, click vitals, then save. So for triggers, we're going to keep any order, but you can always customize it however you'd want. Continue to offer. So from my experience, I've seen a lot of customers usually buy the same product again after they make their initial purchase because they're already interested in that product. So getting it at a higher discount would only incentivize them more to go through with that purchase. So I'm going to set the discount at 50% off. So we can keep the headline text as add this special deal to your order. And for the decline button style, which is obviously this, we're going to keep it as outline. So you could show quantity selector, which will give them the option to buy more than one. So I'm not going to even add the product description because they already seen it before, right? That's why they initially purchased that item. But maybe if it's a different product, maybe it might be a good idea to add a product description. But because it's the same one, I'm just going to keep everything as simple and clean because they already know what they're getting. So then let's continue to review. All right, then go here, click active, and then save. So now our post-purchase upsell has been created. So now we have 3 upsells on our store. We have the product bundles, the volume discount, and the post-purchase upsell. And of course, make sure to go through all these apps, find one that makes the most sense for your store, edit them however you'd want based on your brand. This is all customizable, so do whatever makes sense to you. Now this is extremely important to set up before you start running ads and getting visitors to your store because everyone's going to at least abandon their cart at one point and you want to make sure that you get them back into the funnel so they can make a purchase. Alright, so to get started, go to apps and then click vitals, then go to apps and type in email marketing. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up the abandoned checkout email and also the thank you email. And you could set up the welcome email, but the ones you absolutely need are going to be abandoned checkout and the thank you email. Even the thank you email is optional, but the abandoned checkout is non-negotiable. So these are automations. So then you have campaigns. So these are manual emails that you'll send out to your subscribers. Like for example, when there's a holiday coming up or even Black Friday, maybe you want to wish them a happy birthday. These are campaigns that you can manually send out. And then you have your subscriber list. So every time a customer subscribes to your email list, you'll see them here. And then there's settings. All right, so let's go into automation. So the first one we're going to work on is going to be the abandoned checkout. And below this video will be a Google document on all the email templates you need for email marketing. So let's go ahead and add these in together. All right, so the status should be active and we're going to send the first message after 10 minutes. And if you wanted to put a different time to send it, of course, that's completely up to you. So let's first save this, then enable app. So we're going to edit the email. So starting with the subject name, forgot something. This is the default option, which isn't so bad, but I'm going to stick with what I have in the template. So I'm going to write, hey, do you still want this? And the sender name should be your store name, but I would put it in all caps. And then the reply to address should be your email forwarding text. And we definitely want this as opposed to the Gmail because it looks more professional. And then for the preview text, also known as the pre-header, we're going to say you left this in your cart. No worries, we saved it for you. And then for the review, we can leave this as the Gmail one. This is so we can send ourselves a copy and see how it looks. Then click continue to content. So this is how we edit how the email looks. So for the content on the very top where it says store name, I'm going to add my own branding. So I'm actually going to delete this and then add an image. Then let's choose the logo. So right now it looks really big, so I'm going to make it smaller and I'm going to change the width. Then I'll click save. And we always want to make sure we're editing on mobile because over 80% of your customers are going to see the email on their mobile phone. Then I'm going to remove this. And then I'm going to change the background color to all white instead of the light blue. And then because this part looks like it's so far down from the logo, I'm going to reduce the padding. So just click on this and the bottom. All right, so that looks a little bit better. And then I'm also going to change the content here. So this is also in the template. I saw that you did not complete your recent purchase and we are running low on stock. Then go back to the template, copy this, keep formatting. And then we want to make sure it's black. Then we can make this bold. So I'm actually going to remove this part right here. I don't think that's really necessary. So right where it says products, this is the actual product that they abandoned. So for them, they're going to see an actual picture of the product. For checkout, I'm actually going to change this to return to cart. So then I'll also change this to return to cart. And the background color will be black, so everything stays congruent. We don't need this part, I'm going to delete this. And I'm also going to delete the store name and store address. And of course, you can always change this to however you'd want. You can go to change template, predefined template, change theme, then you can go to abandoned cart and then choose any one of these. But what I found to work the most is keeping it as simple as possible. So this is the first email that's going to be sent out. All right, so the next abandoned cart email is going to be sent 6 hours later. So for the subject line, I'm going to change it to what we have in the template. So come back, I got you something. Sender name, all capitals. The reply to address is going to be the forwarding address. Then the preview text or the pre-header, we want you back, so here's a personal gift for you. And then go to continue to content. So same exact concept as the previous email. I'm gonna essentially repeat the same steps I just made with the other email and then do it here and then come back. All right, so I just finished it. Took me like less than 3 minutes. All I did was copy and paste the same words from the template, and this is how it should look. So just make sure, because we're offering a discount code of 10% off, we want to make sure that we add this discount code. So to do that, go to discounts. I'm going to open it in a new tab. So add discount, then click amount off order, call the discount code save 10, make it 10%. So now when customers add this discount code at checkout, they're going to get 10% off. So make sure everything's saved, and we'll go back to settings. And then lastly, the final abandoned cart email is going to be sent 18 hours later. Then let's edit the email. And then for the subject line, we're going to copy the one we have in the template. We're breaking up for good. Same thing. Then for the preview text, here's our final offer to win you back. Then we'll click save. And then this is the email here. So now we're going to give them an even bigger discount, because this is the last time we're going to reach out to them after they abandon their cart. We just have to repeat the same process. So for the last email, we're just going to say, remember, you still wanted this, right? We are now on our last lot of stock, and I would hate for you to miss out. To make a better deal even better, use code SAVE20 at checkout and we'll give you a 20% discount. But this is the final offer I can do. Then it's valid for 24 hours, so I hope you don't miss out. Simply click return to cart below to get it. So we just want to make sure we add this SAVE20 discount code to our admin section. So now we have both discount codes added. So just make sure you click save, and that's all we have for the last abandoned cart email. So then next we're going to do the thank you post-purchase email. So I like to keep customers informed on the status of their order after they make a purchase. Let's go right into it. So we'll make it active. So the post-purchase thank you email will be sent exactly 1 minute after they make their purchase, and then edit email. And then we'll call the subject line thank you for your purchase. Let's repeat the same process. And then for the preview text, we'll make it thank you for your order. Continue to content. So very similar to the last emails we created. I'm going to put my store logo. I'm going to make sure this is a white background with black text. Then you'll see the final result right after this. So this is pretty much it right here. All you're doing is saying thank you for your purchase, and they can also browse more products. And if you're kind of freaking out about your shipping times, maybe taking like 2-3 weeks, something I've used before in the thank you email was, hey, just want to make sure there's no surprises. Due to high demand, we are experiencing higher than normal wait times. Estimated delivery times take about 6 to 10 business days. And you might think, oh, people might cancel their order from that, but it's very rare that that happens. They're more happy with the fact that they know it's coming and taking longer than being surprised and not knowing that. But for this example, I'm not going to add that in. This is perfect how it is. So I'm going to click on save. So we're going to send one more email, and this one's going to be sent 7 days later, telling them their order is on the way. So we're just going to say your order is on the way, make this capital, change this email, and then for preview text, you can also say your order is on the way, continue to content. So same exact concept. I'm going to change this up based on how we did with the other emails. So everything can be copied from the template. But as you can see, all I said was I just wanted to thank you again for being a customer and to let you know that your order is on the way and will be with you within the next 6 to 10 days. And obviously you can restructure it based on what your delivery time is. And then I also said, if you would like to track your order, please click here. So you want to make sure you add a link. So all you have to do is click on this link and then copy the URL from your Track123 app. Copy this link, come back and paste it here, then click save. So once you've done that, just make sure you click save, and then your thank you email sequence has been set up. So these are the only 2 emails you need. Just make sure this one's actually inactive. Then click save. So once it's all set up, make sure it's active, and now your email automations are fully set up. So let's jump right into it, and we're going to start with AliExpress. So before we even get into product research on AliExpress, you want to make sure that we have the correct country set. So right now I'm living in the US, so I have shipped to US, and then make sure it's set to English and then click save. And you also should make sure that you've already purchased at least 1 item on AliExpress to get rid of the welcome deal. And you also want to make sure you have an account, because when you first sign up for AliExpress, you're going to see a lot of deals that are not accurate pricing. So I've already done that. I've already made this purchase here, and I've got rid of the welcome deals. So let's get right into product research. So let's go to all categories, and I'm going to stick with the home improvement and lighting trending niche. So you can go into each one of these different subcategories, but I'm just going to go down and go look for trending items. But remember, just because it's top selling doesn't mean it's automatically a winning product. It wouldn't hurt to test it out. But if you just want to keep this product in mind and check it out later, you can just right click it and open it in a new tab. And then this one right here also looks pretty cool. It's like a little lamp to help when reading books. So it obviously solves a problem. And we know there's a lot of demand because people read books all the time. So we'll copy that into a new tab. So we'll just keep on going down and looking for products that solve a problem, stand out, and potentially has a lot of demand. So this one right here, strong shoe repairing aid. I mean, it looks like there's 10,000 sold, so people obviously do want to buy it. I mean, me personally, I probably just buy a new shoe, but there's a lot of people out there that just want to save money, and this could really help fix that need for them instead of having to go buy a new shoe. So I'll put that into a new tab. Then there's this like little galaxy projector. So I've seen this a lot on TikTok, and it's obviously been trending for a reason. So why not give it a try and maybe test it out, see how it does. Then this one actually looks pretty cool here. So let's just check this one out. So this product not only looks pretty cool, but it solves a problem, right? So we can read the description to learn more about it. So this is an anti-collision warning feature that alerts other drivers on the road. So this definitely solves a big problem, right? Not only with accidents, but having to pay a lot of money out of pocket. So I don't really see too many other products that are really compelling. So what you could also do is go into these sub niches, which would really refine your targeting in terms of which product you're looking to sell, and then find the one that solves the biggest problem and also looks the most appealing. And along with that, you can type in related search terms based on your niche to find other products as well, repeating the same process. So once you have a list of all these products you want to potentially test, it's a good idea to add a Google Sheet and add the pricing, add the amount of reviews, add the amount of orders. So you can go through each one and see which one you want to test and then which ones you want to keep on your store as an upsell. So the second option to find winning products is going to be on Facebook Ad Library. So this is a platform by Meta that allows you to view inactive and active ads that are currently being ran by brands right now. So all you have to do is go to Google and type in Meta Ad Library, and then you'll see this screen pop up here. So the first option is choosing the location that you want to see where the ad is being ran. So I'm going to choose the US, and then for ad category, you want to choose all ads. And then here you want to make sure you put in keywords that are being used by e-commerce businesses and other dropshippers. So for example, 50% off is really popular. So I'm going to go with that one and see what people are selling. So the next thing you want to do is filter it. So I'm going to choose for languages, it'll be English. And then you want to make sure you're only looking at active ads. So these are the people that are currently running ads, and remember, they're running ads for a reason. They're not running ads to lose money. So if they're running it for a long period of time, there's a chance they're already making money. And then you want to choose the ads that are being ran within the last 6 months. So for this example, I'm just going to choose May of 2024 and then apply 3 filters. So what you want to do is go through each one of these ads and see what looks the most interesting. So this one right here, it looks like they're offering a non-invasive treatment to tighten skin, reduce fine lines and wrinkles.
If you've got wrinkles, fine lines, scars, acne scars, brown spots, or saggy skin, we know how to treat them. We have all the experience and technology needed to effectively help you with any skin condition.
So not only can you get inspiration for the different products you might want to sell, you can also get inspiration for the different creatives and how they are actually marketing their product. But a little hack for you guys, if you want to see if they're scaling their current product that they're running on Facebook, which I would say is a pretty good sign that they're making money, is by hovering your mouse over the name of the advertiser, then click on view ads. So as you can see, there is a lot of ads running for this brand. So this one started on December 13th. This one started on December 18th, December 14th. So just being that they have so many different creatives and videos running gives me a little bit of a sign to know that they could be making money and that it also has some demand. Because what you're really looking for is an advertiser such as this one that has a lot of active ads running at once. So you can see they have 97 different results and it's all based on the same exact product. So this advertiser tells me that they know what they're doing and they have an idea of what a winning product is, and they're now trying to build their brand and get more customers. So what you want to do is go through each of these ads on Ad Library, and then you can validate whether they're making money or not by seeing how many ads they're running, how many different creatives they have, when they started running ads. So this is one of the best free methods for finding winning products, and we only use one keyword. So depending on what your niche is, you can type in other keywords and look for products that way as well. So the third option to finding winning products is going to be a website called fastmoss.com. By the way, this is the website that I found my first winning product on. So you want to start off by choosing the US or any country that you're living in or selling to. So once you do that, go to product and go to product search, and then you can filter by certain categories. So for example, you can do home improvement, and this website is based on the analytics from TikTok. So this actually gives us a little bit of an edge because we're running ads on Facebook. So if we see something that's working well on TikTok, it would only make sense to try it out on a different platform and see if it works as well. So just scroll down and you can filter this by total GMV, which is gross merchandise value. So you can see like there's $3.7 million worth of products sold for this one. There's almost 3,000 affiliates. So by viewing this, you can get more data. And let's scroll down and you can actually see the creatives that people are using to sell this product. So let's actually sort it by views. And again, this is also another way to get inspiration for your creatives. So that's one way. Then you can just go to top selling, do it based on whichever one you want to choose. Let's do total units sold. So you just want to go through each one of these products and see, what makes it so special. You can even see how it's been trending over the last month and if you'd want to use it for your store. All right, so here we are in Ads Manager. This is where all the magic happens. So this is where we're going to be launching our ads, analyzing our ads, and also scaling it up. So this is where the money is made. So I'm going to give you an overview of each of these sections and then show you how to set up the campaign. So first we have the campaign section. So in here, you get to choose what you want your campaign to be about. You can choose awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app promotion, or sales. Just about 100% of the time, you're going to be using sales. So here we have the ad set level. Here you get to choose the targeting, the demographic, the age, the gender, and then here at the ad level, this is where your creative is going to be. So this is where you'll post your video ad or your photo ad. So to launch your first testing campaign, you want to go to campaigns and click create. And we're going to launch a sales campaign and then click continue. And then for the setup, click manual sales campaign. So once we're here, we're going to want to name the campaign. So let's say, for example, we're in the dog niche and we're selling a dog toy. So I'm just going to name this dog toy. So for special ad categories, at least 99% of you are not going to be running ads for this. Financial products, employment, housing, social issues, or politics. So we're going to skip this altogether. Then you have the campaign details. It should be automatically set to auction and then sales. Make sure the catalog option is off. Advantage campaign budget is off. So for advantage campaign budget, this option is mostly for when you're scaling. So when you already have good ad sets or good creatives that are working, you want to turn this on so that Facebook can automatically optimize which one performs best and put most of the spend towards that creative. But because we're testing, we don't know which one works. So we want to make sure Facebook evenly spends out the budget within each ad to find out which one is actually working the best. So it's just a little bit more advanced, but we'll get into how we scale in the next video. All right, so then we have the reporting section, nothing to do there. So we'll click next. So here in the ad set level, this is where we set the targeting for our ads. So this is where we set the country that we want to target, the age, the gender, and the different interest that we want to target. So for the ad set name, it's always best to call it the name of your interest that you're targeting. So for example, the first interest I'm going to choose is going to be dog toy. And then for conversion, we want to make sure we choose website. So for the performance goal, we always want to maximize number of conversions. And the data set, also known as the pixel, is going to be the one we had set up earlier in a previous video. And then for the conversion event, make sure you select purchase. Then leave the cost per result goal blank. We're not going to touch it. So if you see this little warning, you can completely ignore this. So once you get sales, this will go away. And then for daily budget, we want to make sure it's set at $10 per ad set. Because remember, we're setting up 5 different ad sets at $10 per day, which means we're going to spend $50 a day for the next 2 or 3 days. And then for the schedule, you always want to make sure the start date is set for the next day at 12 a.m. And this is just so Facebook can spend the budget evenly throughout the entire day. And then do not set an end date because you can always manually turn off an ad if it does not perform. Then you have the budget scheduling. You can completely ignore this. So we're just going to skip this for just 1 second and we're going to scroll below and switch to original audience. So right now it's automatically targeting the US because that's where I'm located. And if that's where you live, I would also set it as the United States. The age you can leave completely broad, so 18 to 65 plus. Genders completely broad, depending on what product you're selling. If it's just for women, select women. If it's just for men, select men. So now that it's set to original audience, we can select a specific interest that we want to target. So remember, we called this interest dog toy. So I'm gonna type in dog toy. And this interest has over 20 million in size, which is great. Anything over 1 million is fine. So I'm actually gonna copy this and then rename the ad set to exactly what I chose as the interest. And a good way to find interest ideas is by typing in the product name and then going to suggestions, and you'll see other interests that you can target. And remember, we're choosing 1 interest per ad set for a reason, because I'm trying to figure out from Facebook which interest or audience is doing the best out of the ones we chose. So dog toy is just 1 out of the 5 different interests we're gonna target. And make sure it's set to all languages, and this part is done. So then we'll click on next. So now we're in the ad level. So remember, we want to have 3 different videos or 3 different pictures per ad set. So because this is going to be the first video, I'm going to name this V1. Then make sure you select your Facebook page. So for the ad setup, we want to make sure it's set to single image or video, manual upload. And then for multi-advertiser ads, make sure you turn this off. It's not needed. So then we have the ad creative section. So we're going to set up creative video ad. So Facebook has been trying to push a lot of catalogs and site links onto your ad, but this doesn't really help in terms of optimization. So I'm going to click the catalog and say not connected, and then I'll just click on next. So for the primary text, we want to add the one core value proposition for purchasing the product. So I just finished the primary text. What I wrote was keep your dogs entertained for hours. Then I added a little dog emoji, stress relief and anxiety reducer for dogs, perfect for all breeds and ages, non-toxic and eco-friendly, get yours today, with a little hand pointing towards the link to your product page. So obviously you're not going to write this, you're going to put the actual link to your product page where you want them to actually buy. And for headline, you don't really need one, but if you wanted to add it, you can say something like #1 dog toy of 2024, or you can say one-time offer expires today, but I'm going to leave it blank. And make sure you're not selecting any of these, so make sure this is unchecked. Same thing for this, make it unchecked. And for description, you can say something as simple as sale ends today. Then do not add a second description option, so leave this. And the call to action will always be shop now. Then click on next. So I already have the 3 different ad creatives that I'm going to use. So this one, and then this one. So I'll click on the first one and then click next. And just to give you an example of the ad creative that I'm using, it's going to be this one. So we'll click on next, make sure it's all set to original. So then they're trying to optimize your creative a little bit more. So click on see 5 more active enhancements. So we want to turn off add catalog items, and then everything else we can leave turned on. So just make sure the call to action is set to shop now. So for the website URL, you want to make sure you add your product page, not your home page, not anything else, just your product page. So just for example purposes, I'm using google.com, but make sure it's your product page where you want them to purchase. Then scroll below and everything else is pretty much all set. So then we can preview the ad. So as you can see, we have the page, the primary text, the video ad, the description, and the call to action. So now it gets a little bit more easier. So all we have to do now is duplicate this ad twice, because we have 2 more videos that we're going to add. So click on the 3 dots, click duplicate. Number of copies is going to be 2. So we're going to name the second ad V2 for video 2. And the only thing we're changing is going to be the video. So we're going to remove the media, so we can just click next. Everything else is going to be the same. And then this is the second video. Click on next, and we'll preview it. Click next. Everything's set to original. Make sure catalog items are turned off, and then done. And for the last ad, we're going to call it V3. Same thing, remove media, add media. So let's quickly recap. So we have 3 different videos targeting one specific audience inside one campaign. So now the only other thing we're going to add is the different interest. So we're going to add 4 more interests. So click on the 3 dots next to your audience or interest, click on duplicate, and then add 4 more copies. So the only thing we're going to change is going to be the audience. So dog toy is the first one. So for the second one, I'm going to choose dog training and then take out the first one, copy this one, name this as dog training pets. So that's the second interest. For the third one, I'm going to name this dog health, take out dog toy. So copy this, name it dog health. The fourth one, I'm going to call this one puppy and take out dog toy. So copy it, paste. So for the 5th and final interest or audience, I would recommend leaving it completely broad. So we're not going to add any interest for this ad set. So I'm just going to name this broad. So let's recap. We have 1 campaign with 5 different interests and 3 of the same videos within each interest. And each ad set is going to spend $10 throughout each of these videos. So it'll be like $3.33 per video. So overall, it's going to spend $50 per day. So all we're trying to do is isolate which audience is doing the best, along with which creative or video is doing the best. And then all you have to do now is click on publish and your ad is ready to go.